This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
He was approachable, he cared, he loved everyone around here.
After his untimely death, hundreds gathered to remember the University of Nevada president, Dr. Milton Glick. We'll take you to today's memorial. Plus,
it's very exciting to see a president and to be able to shake hands, and he was so gracious.
President Obama makes his first stop in Reno since taking office. What he had to say and how Northern Nevadans are reacting.
and after more than 10 years of service, Senator John Ensign says he will be stepping down sooner than first announced. All those stories top Channel 2 News at 6:30. Well, no doubt a big day for Northern Nevadans. But to start, it is news we got just about 3 hours ago. Senator John Ensign will resign from office in just 12 days. Good evening. I'm Wendy DeMonte.
I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Definitely big news for the Silver State here on all fronts. Just last month, Senator Ensign announced he will not seek re-election, and now a resignation letter will be in Vice President Joe Biden's hands tomorrow. In a statement, Senator Ensign said he is tremendously sad to leave his Senate post and went on to say, quote, "While I stand behind my firm belief that I have not violated any law, rule, or standard of conduct of the Senate, and I have fought to prove this publicly, I will not continue to subject my family, my constituents, or the Senate to any further rounds of investigation, depositions, drawn-out proceedings, or especially public hearings. For my family and me, this continued personal cost is simply too great," end quote. The statement refers to an ongoing ethics investigation into Ensign's affair and allegations he broke the law by helping find jobs for his mistress's husband. Right now, the newsroom is working to confirm reports that Governor Brian Sandoval will appoint Congressman Dean Heller to Ensign's seat. Heller has already announced his plan to run for that seat in 2012. Of course, if he's appointed senator, that would leave his congressional seat open, and that could lead to a special election as well. Of course, we will keep everyone posted. And new at this hour, we're already hearing reaction from other lawmakers about Ensign's announcement.
Yeah, Senator Harry Reid sent this statement just about an hour ago, saying, quote, "From fighting Yucca Mountain in southern Nevada to protecting Lake Tahoe in the north, I have appreciated John's partnership in working with me to address our state's needs. He was a strong advocate for Nevada and worked for many years to improve our state. My relationship with the Ensign family began many years ago with his father, Mike, a pioneer who has been a force in Nevada gaming and tourism for decades. I know this is a difficult time for the family, and I wish them all well as they work through it," end quote. And there is no question a lot is still developing with Ensign's resignation now just 12 days away. We will continue our coverage of this story and bring you the latest as we learn more. Plus, coming up tonight at 11 o'clock, we'll bring you more reaction, including a statement from Nevada Republican Party Chairman Mark Amadei. And of course, that wasn't the only big news here in Northern Nevada today. Today also marked the first presidential visit since President Bush was in office, a first time Obama has made a stop since October of 2008.
President Obama flew in this morning to host a town hall type meeting in East Reno after stops in Virginia and Palo Alto just earlier this week. Ariana Bennett attended today's event, joins us live in the newsroom. Ariana, definitely a big deal for the city to get a visit from the president so early before the campaign season really begins. I can imagine that hand-picked crowd was excited to see him.
That's right. This was President Obama's first visit to Reno since he was elected. So as you can imagine, many of the people there were saying it felt like they won the lottery to be able to see him speak in person.
It's like getting married and waiting for Santa Claus all into one.
President Obama stepped onto the stage in front of a crowd of applauding Nevadans. These were all guests invited to attend his town hall meeting on shared responsibility and prosperity, his plan for the remainder of his term, and a plug for his 2012 campaign.
Everybody has to do their part. First thing we got to do is to comb through the budget and find every dime of savings that we can, wherever we can find it.
The meeting took place at the Electrotherm Warehouse in Reno, a local renewable energy company. True to the venue, a lot of the president's speech focused on alternative energy and why he thinks it's an important investment in the future.
If we're looking for places to save money that we can then use to invest in clean energy projects like Electrotherm.
And alongside green energy, the president named his two biggest priorities going into the next few years: cutting deficit spending and revising the tax code.
If we keep on spending more than we take in, it's going to cause serious damage to our economy.
And resolving the budget deficit is an issue that hits close to home for many of the Nevadans in the audience, with cuts to the state budget making a big impact on programs like higher education.
One thing that resonated with me was that the president said we should be making our cuts at the same time as we were seeking funds. We're doing that certainly here in Nevada.
I really loved what he had to say about the budget, investing in our future, the future of all of Americans, those who have and those who have not.
Some of the audience were employees of Electrotherm or other renewable energy companies. Others, teachers and students from our local schools, said the experience was unforgettable.
Shaking his hand, having him say hello to us, it felt to me like a real person was talking to us.
With the next round of elections just around the corner in 2012, some say this presidential visit shows that Nevada has really been put on the political map.
It does mean that we're important, and we have gotten attention, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
Well, many of Nevada's elected officials attended the meeting today, including Congresswoman Shelley Berkley, Lieutenant Governor Brian Krlicki, and Secretary of State Ross Miller. Covering the presidential visit live, Ariana Bennett, Channel 2 News.
Ariana, thanks so much. And we've seen in the past, the president's visit was also marked by protesters as expected. The group of about 80 people was staked out along the route from the airport to Electrotherm on Turbo Circle. Some were asking for Yucca Mountain to be put back on the table as an energy project, while others were calling for more offshore drilling, lower taxes, and a tougher look at the debt.
We're spending $2 billion on Brazilian oil and not allowing Louisianans to get back to work in the Gulf.
They are wanting to force this country into, I believe, an unrecoverable debt situation.
The size of government and the spending is unsustainable. We can't continue, and this president has spent more in his short term, not even full term, than all previous administrations combined.
Protesters also voiced other frustrations with President Obama, saying he failed to bring jobs as promised to our state as we battle the highest jobless rate in the country. And they believe he's simply using Nevada to campaign for himself.
And we also heard from two of our state leaders in Washington. Congressman Dean Heller reiterated some of what we heard in those protests, saying, quote, Nevada leads the nation in unemployment, and the president comes to Reno to announce his multi-trillion-dollar tax increase, which will impact small businesses across our state. Make no mistake, the president's tax plan will hurt Nevada. And then he went on to say, last week I voted for a budget that takes concrete steps toward getting our nation's fiscal house in order by decreasing government spending, creating jobs, and protecting Medicare for current recipients and future generations. Unfortunately, this plan was met with demagoguery and political grandstanding instead of an honest discussion about our nation's very serious debt problem. Instead of hitting the campaign trail, the president should work with Congress to bring government spending to sustainable levels, end quote. But as expected, it was a very different message from Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, saying, quote here, I thank I thank him for coming to Nevada to discuss the importance of creating jobs and tackling the deficit. We need to cut wasteful spending and excess while helping the clean energy industry put Nevadans back to work by taking advantage of our abundant natural resources like wind, solar, and geothermal energy. That is a responsible way to address our fiscal problems. However, we cannot afford the reckless proposals of those in Washington who advocate paying for more tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires by eliminating Medicare and benefits for Nevada veterans, end quote.
Turning to our other big story tonight, the community has said farewell to a man many considered a giant among those fighting for higher education. Bill Brown is live at Lawler Event Center for us tonight with the service for University President Milton Glick. Bill, we saw earlier in the day really a who's who among Nevada luminaries for the memorial.
Yeah, Kristen, we really did. As a matter of fact, we're standing right out on the ground floor in front of Lawler, and there are still people coming out of there from the service, even though it ended more than an hour ago. As you said, there were luminaries, but there were people just off the street who really seemed to like Dr. Glick. As you say, it seems everybody in their own way admired him.
His legacy is really the commitment to the infrastructure of UNR, their reputation, the academic excellence. Now, he really was all about the student and the student experience. And this has been UNR is a profound institution, but he managed to make it even better.
Dr. Glick understood the importance of education and the economy and a better Nevada. And he would always say it wasn't about him, it wasn't about UNR, it was about a better Nevada, and a Nevada that values education, and that's his legacy.
Today's memorial was the chance for the whole community to come out and pay its last respects. A service just for the university had already been held. And there were former senators, there were sitting mayors, there were just some common people with a love of education and helping students succeed. They all filed into Lawler to hear others remember their friend, Milton.
We may even feel or see a trademark hat, and maybe a gentle smile, and know that he's still with us.
And that's the way a lot of people felt as they left here. Once again, hundreds here celebrating the memory and the life and the accomplishments of Dr. Milton Glick. Up at the University Live, this is Bill Brown, Channel 2 News.
Most certainly. Bill, thank you for bringing us that. And of course, both President Glick's memorial and the president's visit are big news for the biggest little city. So we'd love for you to help us continue covering both by becoming an eyewitness. All you have to do is log on to KTVN.com and click on the Eyewitness tab. Then you can submit your photos of President Glick's memorial, Air Force One, and more directly with us, you can email us or text message us as well. And for all of our coverage on all these big stories, including the president's address, head to our website, KTVN.com.
Coming up on Channel 2 News.
Another holiday is right around the corner, and this Easter, there's a number of ways you can help out those in need.
Yeah, from some simple donations to volunteering your time, we have all the details coming up after weather.
And speaking of the Easter weekend, if you're traveling over the mountains over the next couple of days, well, you could run into a snowflake or two, but probably not enough to mess up your travel plans too much. We'll have that complete forecast for you coming up next.
You're watching Channel 2 News. Coverage you can count on. With Wendy DeMonte, Kristen Remington, Bill Brown, Sports with J.K. Metzger, and Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast. This is Channel 2 News at 6:30. Channel 2 News continues with Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast. Broadcast certified by the American Meteorological Society.
Hey, before we get to our weather picture here, I've got to commemorate another historic glider flight or sailplane flight by Hugh Bennett and Gordon Betker up at 28,000 feet yesterday, floating that Sierra wave going all the way down, seeing the rotor down in Owens Valley and taking these pictures. By the time they were done sailing this thing up and down the crest of the Sierra, or on this side of the Sierra, I should say, working their way back up, they got all the way back and then landed down in Winnemucca with 2,200 kilometer flight. That's about 1,300, almost 1,400 miles worth in the air. And this is Gordon there, the pilot of the flight here, landing last night just as it's getting dark in Winnemucca. The longest flight so far worldwide, starting right here in the Minden and Gardnerville area and working their way up and down into western Nevada. We're at 56 degrees outside right now after getting up to 60 degrees for our high. We did finally have some showers last night, put 0.05 of an inch in the rain gauge at the airport here, but all of that for the most part is past us. This low's moving on by. We still might see an isolated shower tonight before a little short-lived ridge of high pressure comes in, and then we're going to see just variable amounts of cloudiness with maybe a sprinkle of rain or two as we go on into the weekend. I told you about some of those showers. We got a couple of cells going right past Pyramid Lake. I don't see them coming down here to the Reno area. It's not impossible this evening, but it looks like we're going to see a fairly dry day tomorrow with variable amounts of cloudiness. Again, the jet stream not far enough north to take the clouds out of the picture, but not far enough to the south to give us much of a chance of a showers until maybe on Saturday. Winds will also be light tomorrow, which will come as a nice relief to a lot of people tired of these breezy conditions. Temperature-wise, 50s and 60s, just about exactly what we saw today. It'll be a little colder to start off with tomorrow morning. We'll see temperatures in the 20s and 30s, but again, again, highs tomorrow somewhere around what we saw this afternoon. 61 for our high in Reno after starting off just below or above the freezing mark, depending on what part of town you find yourself. Tomorrow up at Lake Tahoe, you'll see a few clouds and the highs in the 50s. So for the lake tonight, variable clouds, just an isolated snow shower. That should clear out by midnight or if not earlier. 24 for your low. High of 52 tomorrow. Again, partly cloudy skies. Slight chance of a shower of rain or snow, but probably not till after the sun goes down. 34 in Reno tonight. Again, partly cloudy skies. Winds will become light. And how about that? They're going to stay light tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. A high tomorrow of 61 degrees. Now, a lot of cloud coming in on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, you know, we might have a light rain shower or two. Again, it's going to be without the wind, and so this weak system has a little better chance of not being shadowed out as much. And like I mentioned, the storm track not close enough to bring us a big storm,
right,
but not far enough away to kick clouds out of here. So you'll see variable amounts of cloudiness and a warming trend by the middle of next week.
That sounds awfully nice.
All right.
Thanks, Mike. Spring is here for the most part, and for some that means spring cleaning.
So how an event we're hosting will help you save a little dough when it comes to throwing out those old electronics after this. Welcome back, everyone. New tonight, the Bureau of Land Management, along with Story County and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, are asking for your input on a new wastewater improvement project in Virginia City. Today, the environmental assessment for that project was released and posted on the BLM website. You can read it there and give your input. Just head to our website, KTVN.com, for that link. And if you've wrapped up your spring cleaning, mark your calendars for this Saturday. We will be teaming up with New to You Computers for another e-waste collection day, collecting everything from TVs and monitors to laptops, computers, keyboards, cords, cables, speakers, power supplies, printers, DVDs. The list goes on and on. They're even taking washers, dryers, refrigerators, even car parts this year. Okay, it's all happening Saturday from 9 to 2 at the side of the old Park Lane Mall. It's $15 a carload at the event, or you can pick up a voucher ahead of time for $10.
And this weekend, you can also help a number of good causes, starting with the nonprofit organization Think Kindness. They've been working with a number of local organizations to collect some 100,000 pairs of shoes. They'll be donating Saturday from 9:30 to 1:30 at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet on East 2nd Street. If you'd like to get help or help out other people, just call the number on your screen. 636-8026. You can also learn more by heading to our website, KTVN.com. And that same day, you can help local philanthropist Evelyn Mount make a very happy Easter for some kids in need. But today is actually the last day to donate. She needs Easter baskets, plastic eggs, candy, and stuffed animal donations. To help out, just drop them off at Evelyn's house. The address, 2530 Cannon Street. And if you're looking to get a basket, you'll want to call and sign up for delivery at 356-0238 or 359-0807. They'll be handing them out Saturday.
Well, coming up in sports tonight, the Reno Aces are in action right now, hosting Sacramento. J.K. Metzger will show us how things are looking so far when we come back. J.K. Metzger joins us now, hopefully with an update on how the Aces are doing.
Absolutely. Playing a tough team.
Yeah. Tough team. It's been giving them some problems over their last couple of years. Their first 2 years as a AAA team, and that's one of the teams they've had some problems with. It's still early in the season, but the Reno Aces are looking pretty good. They're sitting in first place in the Pacific North Division. So far, 9-4 going into tonight. And tonight, continuing that series against Sacramento. That's the Oakland A's AAA team, a team that's given them some problems. Aces manager Brett Butler checking things out. There was no score in the first inning. 1 on, 1 out, and Aces starter Zach Kroenke gets out of a jam as defense helps him out with the double play. Still no score in the bottom half of the inning. Tony Abreu for the Aces sends that one into left field, gets the single. Aces with a little something going, and then just 2 pitches later, Cole Gillespie sends this one way back deep to left and actually bangs it off the scoreboard up there. That's a home run, a 2-run shot. The Aces were up 2-0 after one. Last check, Aces still leading 2-0 now in the 3rd inning. We will have the final results for you tonight at 11 o'clock. Well, the Aces Major League team, the Diamondbacks, are also in action earlier today, taking on the Reds. Stephen Drew in the 1st inning with the RBI single to bring in Ryan Roberts. D-backs were up 1-0, and then in the bottom of the inning, the Reds get things going. Miguel Cairo gets the base knock to bring in a couple of runs, and the Reds go on to get the win 7-4. Great finish in the Dodgers and the Braves game, especially if you're a LA fan. Both teams were wearing throwback jerseys from 1944. Bottom of the 12th game, tied at 3. Matt Kemp, he had struck out 3 times in this game, but how about a little redemption? Game-winning walk-off home run. The celebration is on. Dodgers get the win 5-3. It was do or die time last night for the Reno Bighorns, second round of the playoffs. Down 1-0 in their series against Rio Grande Valley. They lost the first game in overtime. Game 2, the Bighorns were at home at the Reno Event Center, and it was a big night for Marcus Landry. Didn't get that shot to go, but got it back, steps up, and drains the 3. He had a team-high 35 points. Bighorns also getting a pretty good night at a former Wolfpack standout, Mo Charlo. On the break here, Charlo throws it down. He had 14 points, but just like the first time they played, this game went into overtime, and the Bighorns fall once again, 134-126, the final score in that one. So their season has come to an end, but did make it to the second round of the playoffs.
All right. An impressive score there, too.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Could see a couple of clouds and showers this weekend, but all in all, a fairly nice Easter coming up.
Sounds good. Good night, everybody.
And thanks for being with us. We'll see you back here at 11.